Uh, uh, you know, I've been waiting on this day for a long time. Really waiting on for the season to be over with. Uh, nothing good to take away from this season. Nothing positive to take away from this season. Uh, don't really have a lot of soft shit and mushy gushy shit to talk about this season. This season has been an absolute fucking shit show. In every aspect, in every sense of the word trash, the Carolina Panthers have been that this year. They've been absolutely horrible. Um, and today was just the conclusion of trash, right? The trash got picked up today. So we took it out to the end of the road and it got picked up today. And it's picked up all the way until next August. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, man. I'm happy. I am so happy that I don't have to watch this version of the Carolina Panthers no more. I cannot watch another game of this football team that we saw this season. I can't do it. I can't watch another game of this shit, man. When I tell you that today was like literally like just the perfect conclusion to a terrible football team, to a terrible season. You get shut out at home. You never really get to play at home for your season finale, and you go out there and lay a fucking egg. This season has been absolutely fucking terrible. Um, we're gonna talk about the game today because it was historically bad. So after today, Bryce Young becomes the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. After today's game, the most sacked quarterback in the NFL after today's game. And you know, I don't know a lot about football, I guess. Some people will think that, I don't know anything about football, and I guess I don't. But if any quarterback was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, would they be having a good season? I mean, you tell me. Paint the picture. Because people watching CJ Stroud last night, and I just said this on Uncle Quan's show, man. Y'all make sure to go check out my boy Uncle Quan over there. But if I'm the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, what type of success am I going to have? What type of success? What do you honestly think that a rookie quarterback being the most sacked quarterback in the NFL would have been able to do? Tell me. What did you honestly expect for Bryce Young to do this season? After today's game, he became the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. I don't care what CJ Stroud did last night. If he was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, he would not be having the success that he's having right now. Right? Now, I don't know a lot about football, but I can tell you this. CJ Stroud 110% went to a better situation than what he was here in Carolina that Bryce Young had to deal with this season. Guys, I'm going to give you some historically bad numbers for the Panthers this year. Number one, we were the only team in the NFL and the only team in the last 10 years to never lead a game in the fourth quarter all season. The Panthers never led in any fourth quarter all season long. Never had the lead in the fourth quarter. So really, you never was going to win a game because if you don't have the lead in the fourth quarter, you really shouldn't be winning the game. What? What? But we expect a rookie quarterback playing with a terrible coaching, offensive coordinator. Thomas Brown is 100% trash. I'm going to say it right now. It's 3rd and 12, and you're running the ball on 3rd and 12. 3rd and 4, when we were still in the game about to drive down and go and score, you're running the ball. Running the ball. That team won today by kicking 4 field goals. 3 field goals. We couldn't even get into field goal range. And this is what this quarterback has to deal with all year. But you watching CJ Stroud last night, and a lot of people was watching CJ Stroud last night. He had a hell of a game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? Had a hell of a game. But you sitting up here trying to tell me that if he came to this situation in Carolina, if Bryce Young was in this situation in Carolina, that he would have been able to thrive in this situation. No way. Hold on one second. So again, I say to everybody, what would Bryce Young be able to do in this system and in these circumstances? So anybody that's sitting up here talking about Bryce Young is the fucking problem, I don't want to hear none of that shit, man. I don't want to hear none of that shit. But let me go ahead, man, because I am so sick of this as a Panthers fan. I'm sick of it. Shout out to my boy Uncle Quan, man. Uncle Quan is in the building. Y'all make sure to go over and like and subscribe to his channel, man. The Panthers Experience with Uncle Quan. Great content over there, man. Y'all make sure to check my boy out, man. Much love and respect for him. I was on his platform earlier today, man. I want to say thank you for allowing me to come over there, man, to pop my shit. But I definitely want to say, man, if you haven't done so already, which as big as he done got, I know y'all definitely know about him. But if you haven't, go over there and like and subscribe to his channel as well, man. Also, man, you are in the season finale of Life is Just a Wave podcast after the Panthers losses, man. The Panthers lose today 9-0 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. And this was a game particularly where the Buccaneers didn't do anything special to win the game. They didn't do anything special to win the game. Honestly, they done everything to lose the game. Baker Mayfield didn't play well. J.C. Horn had Mike Evans locked up. He had Mike Evans locked up all game. J.C. Horn has Mike Evans locked up all game. Go back and watch the footage if you don't think that I'm lying. Well, if you think that I'm lying, J.C. Horn had that man locked up all game long. So the defense played well, held them to 9 points. They didn't even get in the end zone. And really, on the defensive side of the ball, we were shooting ourselves in the foot. Had a touchdown with DJ Shark. He fumbles the ball into the end zone. You know, the only good play that Bryce made, wide receivers were dropping passes all game long. You know, the running game, I mean, it really couldn't get going like it was supposed to. And on top of that, it was bad play calling by the coordinator, Thomas Brown. Thomas Brown called a horrible game today and just signed his papers to get the fuck up out of Carolina. And I'm glad, man. Guys, we cannot keep anybody from this current regime or any prior regimes, right? And a lot of people, you know, and when I pull my panel up here, man, when these boys start to trickle in, they're going to say the same thing. Waves, you can't get rid of everybody. Waves, you got to keep some things around. But guys, look at the culture. Look at the culture. You couldn't even end the season in pride. You are at home. You got a chance to spoil the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playoff chances and hopes. with as bad as this season has been, firing the coach, the owner throwing drinks and shit on people, Brian Burns not being as productive as he should be, the offense being historically bad, not having any weapons. Bryce Young is the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. You don't have a first round pick next year. Even with knowing all of that, you couldn't even give your fans something to even go into the offseason on, to even have a smile, some type of confidence, some type of feeling of, damn, man, at least we ended the season, man, with a win against Tampa Bay. And we fucked up their plans. Y'all couldn't even do that. You came out and didn't even really get past the 50 fucking yard line. And even when you had a chance to score, you fumbled the ball in the end zone. This team has been bad, guys. It's been absolutely horrible. It's been terrible. This football team has not been a good football team this season. And somebody has to pay for it. Somebody has to pay for this. This is unexcusable. I have a very good friend, somebody that I look at as a brother, who's an Atlanta Falcons fan. And he is the only person that I know, and I want to give his credit live. He is the only person that I met that I knew in the offseason that had this version of the Carolina Panthers really winning less than 5 games. I didn't see that. I had the Panthers in the range of 7-9, 7 to 9 wins, 9 being the max. I didn't want to go over 9, 7 being the minimum though. And the reason why I did that, and I want to explain this on live, I did that because you finished last year 7-9. The team didn't really get worse than what it did last year because it's the same defense that you had from last year. You know, you don't have it's the same offensive line, which the offensive line was a top 15 unit last season. I think we all can agree that the Panthers offensive line in 2022 was way better than what it was in 2023. So with me knowing that, and the fact that you go out and hire the most experienced coaching staff in the NFL by years, the most experienced coaching staff by years, you trade up to number 1 to go get your quarterback of the future. You gave up a lot of assets to do that. But you bring in an Adam Thielen, even though in the career, Adam Thielen, still a very productive Adam Thielen at this point in his career. You go and get a DJ Shark. You saw the Miles Sanders coming off of a 1,600-yard all-purpose yard season. With all of that you did, there was no way in my eyes that you could have been worse than last season, or you should have been worse than last season. There's no excuse for it. Say what you want to say about the Panthers should have took CJ over Bryce. Just know that CJ Stroud would have been in the same situation. Maybe he wins 1 or 2 more games. But it is too early to put any type of judgment on Bryce Young until you give him weapons, a true number 1 weapon, a T. Higgins level type of weapon, and you protect him. He's going to continue to struggle. No rookie quarterback. Cam didn't even come into a situation this bad. He had a Greg Olsen. He had a Jonathan Stewart, a D'Angelo Williams. He had that. He had that, bro. Cam Newton came into a better situation than what Bryce Young did. But Cam came to a bad team and Cam won games. Bryce Young is not Cam Newton. Cam Newton was a physical specimen who played with a good coaching staff at the time. Stop trying to make these excuses for why Bryce Young should be having a decent season and open up your fucking eyes and look at what he's been offered this year. The coach that drafted him and the quarterback coach that worked with him from the time he walked in the building are both gone in his first year. They're both gone in his first year. They're both gone. And you're playing. If your quarterback has been sacked the most in the NFL, that means that's the worst offensive line in the NFL. The Panthers had the worst offensive line in the NFL this season. So not only are you playing with problems at the top, really not the coach that's supposed to be developing you, the guy who's supposed to be a quarterback whisperer, he didn't even have the locker room. Because he doesn't even know what the fuck it takes. Omar, don't dip up out of here, Omar. If you got business to handle, I understand that, but you gonna hear this, bro. You're trying to tell me that he's going to have success under those circumstances. It's not going to happen. I don't care what quarterback is coming out. It's not going to happen. Cam wasn't the most sacked quarterback in the NFL his rookie season. It wasn't going to happen. So look at the entire picture before you start blaming one individual person. Because what is a snake without its head? Our head and the people that's up there at our top, they don't even know what they're doing. So how can you expect the coaching staff to know what they're doing? So how can you expect a rookie quarterback to know what he's doing? Bryce won't be successful next year. He limits the playbook. Omar, I'm going to tell you, I respect you on a lot of different levels, my brother. Most of the time, me and you agree with our opinions about this organization. But when it comes to Bryce Young, I cannot agree with you, and I can't go with you there, bro. And the only reason why I can't do it is because this team has been historically bad. Historically. This wasn't just a football team that had a bad season or another losing season. This year was the worst year in Carolina Panthers football history. And we're expecting a rookie quarterback who coach got fired in the middle of the season with the worst offensive line in the league, probably the worst wide receiving cast in the league. We're expecting him to go out there and win football games. We're expecting him to go out there and win football games. It's not going to happen, my guy. I'm about to bring the crew up here, man. Y'all know we about to dive into it. But a couple more points, man, because I want to talk about some breaking news that came out. Anybody that's been following my community section know that I've been posting a lot of news that have been coming out. And I appreciate everybody, man, for you know, supporting it, man. Everybody that's been liking the channel. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you hit the red subscribe button. Hey, if you're already a surfer, man, hit the like button. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Uncle Quan, man, go and make sure y'all subscribe to his as well. All right. So a couple rumors, man, that I'm gonna bring Big Bruh up here, man. He the first to arrive, so I'm gonna bring him up. Let me get through these rumors that I posted over the weekend. And you guys know how I am about my sources, everybody. My source is the same as your source. I just happen to read. I go and check out articles. I am a premium member of a lot of these news sources, man, and newspapers out there in other states and things like that. And they get information, CBS Sports. So I don't have no problem giving out my sources, man, because my sources is the same as everybody else's. I'm not finna sit up here and lie about where I'm getting this information from. But anyway, I feel like I got to say that, man, because it's a lot of podcasters out there that, and again, this is not taking shots at anybody. This is a general statement. There's a lot of podcasters out there that say that they be having these so-called sources and things like that. And really, I'm not doubting that to a certain extent, but to an extent, it is doubtful. But that's neither here nor there, man. I don't knock with anybody. But first rumor we're going to get into, man, I want to talk to you guys about Derek Brown. Derek Brown is a top 5 D tackle in the NFL right now. Top 5. He's a top 5 D tackle in the NFL right now. His play has showed it. He broke the record since the year 2000. The first defensive tackle to get 100 tackles in one fucking season. I think that you have to build this defense around Derek Brown. Right now, Derek Brown is the best football player on that defensive side of the ball. You got to build it around him. Brian Burns got an extra sack today. I think that puts him at 8 for the season, still too shy of hitting double-digit numbers again, bringing him to being in the league for what, 5 seasons now, and only having 1 year where he was over double-digit sacks. I was talking to Quan about this earlier today, man, and I'm going to say it again. Big Bro obviously will have a different opinion, but I'm going to go ahead and say this. The ship has sailed for us to get anything of significance for Brian Burns at this point. When the Los Angeles Rams offered us last season 2 first-round picks for him, we should have pulled the fucking trigger. We should have pulled the trigger last season when we were offered 2 first-round picks. And even if we would have made the moves that we made for Bryce Young, we would actually be in a good situation because we would still have a first-round pick this year if we would have pulled the trigger, right? So the Panthers missed out on that. Fast forward to this season at the trade deadline, the Panthers let it come and go and did not get a deal done for Brian Burns. And on top of that, they said that multiple teams reached out. The Baltimore Ravens were one of those teams. I believe the Rams reached out again, and a couple other teams. If I'm forgetting one, guy, throw it in the chat. But a couple teams reached out about bringing Brian Burns in, and the Panthers in this front office still decided not to pull the trigger. So now you're in the offseason because today's embarrassing loss marks the end of another bad season. We're in the offseason. Black Monday is Friday. Black Monday is coming up this Monday. But now you're going into this offseason with needing to sign him to either a long-term deal or you're going to have to franchise tag him. So what are you going to do? What are the pros and cons of either one? Well, if this new regime comes in, new GM, new head coach, and say, hey, Brian Burns is worth, even though he's probably more of a top 7 defensive tackle, and he's probably number 7, are we going to keep him or are we going to build around Derek Brown? And I think that personally, we should build around Derek Brown. Maybe you franchise tag Brian Burns for 1 year, paying him the $19 million a season, for this upcoming year, just to see, if he bounces back or if he's on a prove it deal basically at that point. Maybe if the new regime, believes in it, then you got to do that, right? But I think that that's probably the most logical option. And try to trade him. Maybe you do a signing trade where he signs a franchise tag and then you trade him. Maybe he does that. But the value that we would have gotten when we had the first 2 opportunities to the value that we have now for him is not going to be the same. One, because he's going to want any team that trades for him are going to have to give up draft assets, potentially a first-round pick, and they're going to have to sign him to a long-term extension. Keep that in mind. Any team that would trade for Brian Burns is going to have to give up draft assets because that's what we're going to want in return. Nothing less than a first-round pick. And they're going to have to try to get him signed to a long-term extension. With him only having 1 year of being over double-digit sacks, Big Bro always brings up the fact that he's, top 10 in pressures or top 5 in pressures or something like that. Pressures, to me, it's a inflated stat for me. It's an inflated stat. Yes, a causing pressure can disrupt, the quarterback. That definitely helps. But when you really break it down, getting those pressures can be inflated, man. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. that you can get a pressure with, man. Maybe the offensive lineman took a bad angle and you just happen to get in the backfield. It doesn't compare to me to sacks. So pressures and sacks, I would rather get more pressures from my defensive tackles than my defensive ends. My defensive ends got to get to the quarterback. My defensive tackles can cause more pressures than my D ends. My D ends and my edge rushers, they got to be able to get to the quarterback. So to me, that's an inflated stat. Brian Burns only has one season over double-digit sacks, and he's been in the league now for 5 years. And on top of that, he was a draft pick from the old regime. He's a Marty Hurney draft pick. Marty Hurney's been gone now for 2 or 3 years. But that's a guy that's going to demand north of $20 million a year. I say you try to see if you can get him traded for a sign and trade type of situation. You could potentially get a first round pick for him. And then from there, you see what happens. But I think it's time to build this defense around. And the defense don't need too much building. I think that if you, those linebackers, those young linebackers, Frankie Louvu, I really want to see how DJ Johnson continues to improve his game because he showed some flashes today when he had opportunity. And throughout the season, he's shown some flashes. I really thought that decision to draft him was a complete, dumb decision, but maybe he keeps playing under Evero. Maybe he turns into something for us. And honestly, man, Gross Matos, even played this season is probably the best I've seen Gross Matos play when you're talking about making impactful plays. The numbers are not going to show it, but watching a lot of games, I see that he played with a little bit more twitch than what I've seen in previous years. J.C. Horn has shown since that he's returned that if he stays healthy, he's going to be he might be the best corner in the NFL. I'm going to go ahead and say it. The way that he shut Mike Evans down today, J.C. Horn is a dog, but it comes with an asterisk because his problem is he has not been able to stay healthy. I think we've known that he's a great corner when he's on the field. But the question is he going to stay healthy? I've been an advocate of getting rid of him because of his ability to not stay healthy. I think he's going to stay on the roster for one more year. I don't think that they're going to give him one more opportunity to see if he can stay healthy. But if J.C. Horn has any type of injury next season and he has to miss any extended amount of time, I think that it's time to move on from J.C. Horn. But I think that this new regime, this new era, they're going to give him one more year to prove just because you still have him on a rookie deal. And we're really thin as hell in the cornerback room. We're super thin in our cornerback room. So I think that they're going to give him one opportunity to show that he can give us a full season. If he don't, he's gone. 100%. He's gone if he can't give us a full season. But I think you got to go get more corner depth. I think that a lot of these younger guys are going to have to try to get better. The ones that we drafted this past year, Mingo's going to have to take a step. But Ben Johnson, who's going to be our next head coach, it's already stamped, sealed, and delivered. And that leads me into my next rumor mill. Johnson is going to be David Tepper's priority. He is the guy that David Tepper wants to be the next head coach of the Panthers. He's the hottest football head coaching candidate this season. There's going to be a lot of teams vying him for his services. But Ben Johnson is going to be the next head coach for the Carolina Panthers. I've been saying it for 3 weeks now. And all of the signs, the rumors, remember, the season is over now. So these shits are going to start holding some type of weight. Ben Johnson is going to be the next head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Also keep this in mind. Him and Ejiro Evero have the same agent. You can go and look up this information. Ejiro Evero and Ben Johnson have the same agent. I can see a scenario that when Ben Johnson becomes the head coach, Ejiro Evero he'll do some head coaching interviews because again, you have to applaud the amazing job that he's done with this defense. With the injuries that we've had, with how long he's kept that team on the football field, that unit being on the football field this season, how long because of a bad offense that's going 3-and-out, 3-and-out, and 3-and-out. With the job that he's done with this unit, missing Jeremy Chin for a portion of the season, missing Shaq Thompson for the entire season, missing J.C. Horn for majority of the season. So the job he's had to do with a bunch of tier 3 free agents, Eric Rowe and Troy Hill and Dante Jackson and Deion Jones and the guys he's done with that, with the job he's done with those guys. Ejiro Evero is deserving of a head coaching job. And why he's deserving of a head coaching job? Because this unit has been a top 5 unit for majority of the season. A lot of people don't even know. Coming into the game, we were ranked the number 3 overall defense coming into the game today against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And leaving this, we're probably still going to be top 3 because we held them to 9 points. This defense is fucking stingy, dog. They're fucking stingy. They are stingy. This is a stingy unit. Ben Johnson is going to be the next head coach, like it or not. I put that on everything. They're going to allow him. They're going to allow him to come in and help make a decision on who the GM is going to be. And then from there, he's going to select the GM. And my hope is Ejiro Evero will be the guy he decides to keep as defensive coordinator if Ejiro doesn't get the opportunity to be a head coach. Final rumor, man, that I'm pulling up, big bro, up to the channel. Ben Johnson is the next head coach. Tepper is going to outbid any team. And if you try to get in the bidding war with David Tepper, I think I'm going to take David Tepper, the guy that's worth $20 billion. I think I'm going to take Tepper in any bidding war for his services. They've already said that he spoke with his agent several times. They said Diana Rossini, and I want to give Diana Rossini her credit. She has been the best news source for Panther football over the last couple of months. The job she has done with uncovering these stories, this news, this information, she has done a phenomenal job. But she reported out that Ben Johnson also was open to the idea of coming to Carolina. He has Carolina ties. He was a walk-on at UNC University. Obviously, he's from Western Carolina. He has family here. It just makes too much sense. It makes too much sense. He was interviewed last season, and David Tepper is going to pay him $15 million plus a year. He's going to pay it, but it's worth it. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. Ben Johnson is going to turn this organization around. He's going to turn this organization around. I'm a believer in him. I believe in him. You have to think about what he's done. The job he's done with Jared Goff and that offense. And when he inherited that offense, how bad they were. And the job that he's done. Dan Campbell is a defensive-minded coach. He's not an offensive coordinator. So all of that creativity came directly from Ben Johnson. He was the reason why the Detroit Lions have had one of the top five offenses the last couple of seasons. He's responsible for helping Amon-Ra St. Brown turn into the player that he is. He's responsible for that. Those running concepts and why David Montgomery has had a bounce back season. And a Jahmyr Gibbs and an offensive line that has played extremely well. You bring him in and you keep those are the steps. Those are the steps to build a solid foundation. He's going to be the next head coach. This whole shit about Dan Morgan staying around and having some type of role into this new organization, to hell with that. I'm not a fan of that. I hope that they don't allow Dan Morgan to have any type of role in what we're going to do going forward. That's our problem now. We can't get away from the past. We have to continue to go into the future. That's our problem now. So I don't want to hear that shit. But man, shout out to everybody that's popping in here, man. 20 people in here watching, man. Hey, look, appreciate y'all, man, for supporting the channel. Season is over with now, man. We can all finally find better things to do with our time on Sundays. Listen, man, if you're rocking with the boy Big Waves, man, and you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. If you're already a surfer, better pull my boy Big Bruh up. Big Bruh, what's good with it?
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Season is officially over. Just wanted to hop in here. Couple of things. Two, just to kind of answer some one of the things that you put out there. Um, I'm not sold on Ben Johnson being the next head coach yet. We'll see how that goes. To say that he's gonna turn this thing around, possibly. I mean, what he's done in Detroit is great, with the offense, but what people keep on forgetting, missing out is, yeah, he's a great coordinator, but they've drafted well and done well in free agency with the players they brought on. The Laporta, Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra drafted. I mean, so again, they got elite guys that helped their offense grow. So was Ben Johnson a big part of it? Absolutely. But they've done well from an organizational standpoint. They're bringing guys in and also bringing the line in. Second point. As far as the Bryce situation, with everybody want to compare him to CJ and Cam this and that. Listen, guys, if you know and watch the game and watch football, um, Bryce is not the problem, man. Prime example, which has been all year. He make a play to get open to DJ Shark. He finally gets separation. Guess what Shark do? He go down there and fumble the ball. That's no help. Same play, you put CJ in that same play, he can't go score the touchdown. I mean, that's just nothing. But even looking at even piggyback on the play calling with Thomas Brown, you go back and watch the Panthers. Don't look at Bryce when you're watching a pass play. Go look at the receivers and how far they're down here. They're not getting separation. So that's not on the quarterback. That's not on the quarterback. Like, you gotta,
That's
don't
true.
pay attention to Bryce Young when y'all go back and looking at these the review of the game. I look at the receivers, are they getting open? And also, even with Thomas Brown, Bryce don't limit the playbooks. They want to throw the ball downfield, but when your guys are not getting separation and when the routes are taking too long to develop and he getting sacked, there's nothing you can do. You can't make what I'm saying is you can't fucking make toast out of shit, man. Like, it's not gonna work. So, and you got to watch it from that aspect. CJ Stroud in this situation, even Cam his rookie year, it's a difference where they had true veterans and Pro Bowl players. Cam played with Pro Bowl players his rookie year.
He did.
Olsen,
Ryan Khalil.
Steve Smith, Rock Lee, these guys. this is what that's who he played. Bryce don't have no Pro Bowls on his team on the offensive side. That's gonna be in the Pro Bowl. Like, I mean, Hall of Fame guys. Like, that's what I'm telling you. So it's a difference. Go back and watch again, man. Today showed you that Bright, it's the showed all season. He doesn't have help. He doesn't
None.
have help on the offensive side from the receivers. You look at the receivers, they do not get open. And when they do, hell, he make a good throw, they drop the ball or fumble it. Like,
Even Adam Thielen dropped
even
two
Thielen,
passes
yeah, he dropped
today.
balls today. So what I'm saying when we compare to say, oh, Bryson, you can't compare him. It's not apples to apples with CJ. If you look at the Texans, if you
Way
really
better
watch the
situation.
Texans, way better team. The whole team is better.
It
The
is.
Texans are 10 times better than us. CJ has
That's
time.
facts.
His receivers make plays. Like
Right.
they
And their
get
defense
separation.
lit.
Yep, Tank Dell is one of the fastest receivers, man, in the league. Like he
Dalton
creates
Schultz.
yeah, Schultz, man, the tight. These guys are better skill players than our guys. So we can't
They
sit up here.
are.
Did Bryce play perfect all season? No, he made mistakes. I'm not saying that
You're a rookie.
he
He go do that.
yeah. So but again, the place to blame, oh well, we should have drafted Stroud. Of course you're gonna say that when Stroud having success. Of course you're gonna say that because if it was the other way around, if Stroud was had this same record, this same kind
You
of
would have
team,
said the same shit about
you would say the
Bryce.
same thing about Bryce. So that's what I'm
Talk
saying.
that shit. Big bro popping off,
People
man.
just looking at the season as oh Bryce being the problem. No, he's not. You got to watch the game and really understand the game. He's not the problem. That's the second point. So again, you went back today several times where we had plays again. Great play with the DJ Shark is a terrible receiver. Um,
He is terrible. He's
again, I
horrible.
just don't know how you you you
Fumbled the
you you
ball in the end
you that
zone.
wide open. You go down,
And
and
nobody even touched him.
he got popped at the end, but he should have held on to the ball, man. I mean,
Yeah, man.
that's just one play you gotta have. Like you can't not fumble in that moment, man. You literally had a touchdown. All he had to do was put the ball in the opposite hand. Which they teach you. You know what I'm saying? They teach you that in Pee Wee football, man.
That's
Switch
facts.
the ball in the opposite hand, the outside hand when you're running on the
But you didn't even
sideline.
have to dive though. That was another
Yeah.
thing. Why you just
So
didn't run it in? He dived. He didn't even have to.
right.
It wasn't like the dude that was gonna walk him down. You didn't even
E-
have to dive.
exactly, man. So you look at that, and again, that's just terrible on the offense. So we gotta
What
we gotta
about
get
Thomas
better.
Brown play calling, man? When he running the ball on 4th and 7 and
So now
third and
those,
7 and
yes,
3rd and 12.
yeah. Now those are questionable calls. I think, and I'm not gonna make an excuse for Thomas Brown. I think I don't think he quite ready to be a elite play caller in the league yet. I think he got some growing to do there. But those calls, I think that they were more so eh, calls to try to protect Bryce because
Maybe. Yeah.
the line. I'm saying I don't know. I wasn't in the lock, the huddle, but to protect him from not getting again, we don't want to him to suffer a major injury that's gonna put him out in the start of the season. So maybe those was no call, but they were bad calls in those situations. I agree with you there. So Thomas Brown, do I think he deserved to be back next year as play
Nah.
caller? I think he deserved to be back on the staff, but as far as primary play caller, I don't think he's quite ready. Not yet. Not yet. Again, he can get there eventually, but I think he just needs some more experience there. With that. Then as far as the defense with Brian Burns, defense played great again today.
They did.
As they've been, all season. So I wasn't surprised there. Derek Brown, phenomenal season. 100 tackles for a D tackle hasn't been done for quite a while. So that's a
23
real
years.
Yep, real phenomenal season for D Brown. And I will say this, and it's gonna lead into my Brian Burke's point. And I mentioned this on last week's show or 2 weeks ago. So the sack that Derek Brown got, if you go back and look at that play, Brian Burns was double teamed on the outside. So
Yeah.
that caused Derek Brown to be 1-on-1. So, and I brought this point up 2 weeks ago that most of the time Burns is getting double team on the outside. Now I'm not making an
Of
excuse for him
course.
not having
Yeah.
double digit sacks, but here's what I'm saying: other guys have to eat when because that creates one on one for other guys like Derek Brown in that sack. He was able to
Yeah.
eat off of that. Again, to me, do can we franchise Brian Burns? I say you got to franchise him this year. Do we sign him for a long term? I mean, don't overpay him. But again, I think he's if we can get him back at least for a franchise 1 year to see what he does, and before we sign him into a massive contract, I think it's worth it, man, because Brian Burns, he does cause double teams, which lets other guys eat, man.
Yeah.
And it,
Hey, hold on, big bro. Hey, hold on, big bro. I got a question I got to ask here, man. Get to the chat. He said, Waves, now with all that said, what the fuck did we do to fix our team? You know what? I'm going to let the famous Nigga Nation tell you what we got to do to fix our team. Nigga Nation is in the building.
Natural, intellectual, go-getting achievers in the building. Again, natural, intellectual, go-getting achievers is in the building. Nigga Nation, how we doing, fellas?
What's up, Nigga Nation? What's good with it?
Oh, man, it was terrible today, man. Once again,
So
man,
answer this
shit.
question, man. We got a question out there in the chat. I got to hear your perspective. What do we do now to fix this team?
Well, what you got to do is go ahead and fire all cylinders when it comes to finding a left tackle, move Icky to guard, go ahead and make sure get you a good tight end, possibly get you a good receiver, and go all in on offensive line, and don't give up none of your defensive players. I see. Here's the thing, and a lot of people I saw on Bleacher Report in the community chat all on JC Dick. Oh, JC going crazy. Look what he did. Listen, I told you. Unfortunately, JC Horn has an injury prone, but when he's out there, he's out there, right? I'm hoping next year he can do a full season. But you go ahead and build this defense. This defense is already going to give you a top 10 every year. They're going to give it to you regardless who's doing the play calling. They have transitioned from a 4-3 to a 3-4. So you got guys that can play either or. Look at Derek Brown. Everybody was calling him a bust 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was
Look
one
at
of them. I was hard on him.
but here's the thing: you give guys opportunity to give them a chance. You know, I don't like the guy, and he hasn't shown me nothing but gross Matos. I mean, when he's in,
He
he give
played
you a
well
play.
this year. He
Yeah,
actually
he get.
played solid. Like I'm,
But the thing is, he's always injured, and he's on and off. But it's all about giving these guys opportunities, but don't fuck up the defense. Add to the defense. Get rid of Von Bell. If you're gonna get rid of anybody, get rid of Von Bell. I mean, I don't even know where the fuck he at. He was supposed to be like a leader vocal of the defense or whatnot. He's a bust to that signing. But you add on to that defense, and then you go ahead and help Bryce get that line. I don't even give a fuck if you get your number one receiver this year. Get my man an offensive line. Because if you give him an offensive line, he can make other players better because they're getting open. He's going to have time. But until you get that offensive line straight, and I'm telling you, Icky, if he don't get this shit right, he's a bust. Because from what I saw, he was running after the defensive end, not fucking blocking. From what I saw. So get your offensive line corrected. Get your tight end corrected. Hopefully Miles Sanders stays with us and possibly get shit going. But this is Chuba's opportunity and this is his offense. So shit, go ahead and get you a 1 and 2. You already got your two running backs. I mean, you got a couple pieces right there, man. You just got to get that offensive line, man, and get him a tight end. Which you got Tremble, but they still need another tight end. But don't fuck up that defense, man. Just add on to the defense and get you a defensive tackle. I think
yeah,
we haven't got pressure on the quarterback, so we'll go ahead and double down on some defensive tackles, possibly get rid of Shot Tuttle, get rid of it's a couple I think Darian Williams or some shit like that. Go ahead and get rid of them because they're not getting pressure on the quarterback. So we
yeah,
definitely
I
need
agree.
big bodies and hog mollies on that offense and defensive side of the ball. And if you do that, you can do some good things. And I didn't like Dave Gettleman, but he damn sure made sure he had them hog mollies on the front side and on the
Yeah,
defensive
he
side.
did. He did. That's real shit. That's real shit, man. We got CLT in the building. CLT, what's your thoughts, man?
What's up, fellas? I'm just
What's
happy this
good with
shit.
it?
I'm happy this shit over, bro. I'm happy the season over. I hope that David Tepper fire got now start fitting tomorrow. Um, that'll be the first step moving in the right direction. But I'm happy this shit over, bro. Say,
Me too.
Hey,
for real,
Yeah,
I
bro.
actually got a smile on my goddamn face.
yeah, it's
I'm
been
happy this
tough
shit over.
season, man. It's been tough.
And so CLT, I'm surprised you weren't at the game today, man. I don't know if you still had the pride to still go out there.
Hey
Uh,
man, when I looked at the tickets, they was like $40 to be in 200s. I was like, shit, I bet.
damn. Hey, hey, bro. Hey, look. Hey, I want to tell you, y'all, how bad this offense has been, y'all. This is a stat that came out right after the game. The Panthers are the only team in the last 10 years to never lead in the fourth quarter of any game this year.
Yeah, that's I mean, that just lets you know,
That that
man,
is that
how
means
bad it's
that
been.
you didn't win really any games, because if you're not leading in the fourth, how you gonna win?
Like,
You really technically didn't win a game this year based off of that stat.
well, the thing
It's
is, man, is that the two games we won, man, was walk off
field
field
goal
goals.
games,
So that was, at
right?
the end.
Oh,
So
that's how it's happening.
yeah. So that's the reason why we got that stat. But that just again, this is
That's
the worst
embarrassing, man.
Panther team, and I've been a fan since '94. This is the worst team. And even you go back to the 1-16 season, we was actually competitive in those games.
We
Um,
was.
and we lost. We just lost them. But this has been the worst team, man, ever. I mean, it's been it's, again, we the laughing stock of the league, man. Especially giving up, giving Chicago, another number one pick this year. But man, again, it's over. It can't get worse than this, Panthers Nation. Like it can't be a, it
Don't
cannot
say
be a
that.
season worse than this. So
Every time you think it can't get worse, it gets
I
worse.
mean, CLT, listen,
But not
man,
can't get
this
worse
been
than this one
historically
though.
bad. Like it's been historically bad. Like again, it's been the offense. We ain't put up what we put up. We scored over 20 points twice all season against
Right.
Detroit and Green Bay. Was two
Yeah,
games, I believe.
that's true.
Bro,
So
that shit was awful, bro. This shit was bad,
yeah,
bro.
it was.
When you can't like, bro, we had no excitement on offense at all. Like, even this shit was just awful, bro. It was nothing to watch.
Man,
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
I'm gonna
when
keep it
you
real.
have
Chris
go
Tabor
ahead.
is not. Chris Tabor is not a good interim coach, dog. He just gonna get you. It's just like once.
There was nothing he could do, man. I
No,
mean,
I mean,
man,
no, no, no,
he
no,
was
no,
he's
no,
just
special
no. Hold
teams
on, hold
guy,
on, hold on,
man.
hold on, hold on, hold
yeah,
on,
he
hold
Bro,
was
on,
just out
hold
there
on,
just
hold on,
because he was asked to
hold on,
do it.
hold
you
on, hold
gotta
on.
think about it too,
Don't,
bro.
hold on,
The
hold
dude
on.
said
Don't.
he did not want to be a head coach. What?
That's
Who
true.
made
That's
that?
true.
Right.
You may not want it. You may not want it, right? But you still got a job to do. At the end of the day, just like with Chris, with Steve Wilkes, even though he wanted the job, when you in that interim role, it's your team. So again, at the end of the day, it was like 3 or 4 games left, and it still just was like a complete shit show. I mean, they played hard or whatever, but the last 2 games is just terrible, and this is where it comes down to. I know, Waves. You say you want Ben Johnson here, right? That's all fine and dandy. But if you bring an offensive coordinator in, understand that coordinator's not calling the plays. So who's gonna take that role?
He is gonna call the plays. What you
No,
mean?
who the offensive coordinator is not going to call the plays. So you got to make sure you're going to bring somebody in who's knowing that they're not going to be calling plays, but they're going to have that title. So we got to understand if you saying Ben Johnson is coming, okay, that's cool and fine and dandy, but who's calling them plays? I mean, he's calling them plays, but understand who's their offensive coordinator.
It won't even matter who the offensive coordinator is. That's what I'm
I need
telling
some.
you.
It's gonna need because just because Ben Johnson doing that in Detroit, don't mean he's gonna do that in Carolina.
I mean, there's no
That's all I'm
guarantees,
saying.
fellas. Listen. Let me say this, man. There is no guarantees, no matter who you bring in. You could bring in Eric Bieniemy, you could bring in Bill Belichick, John Harbaugh. There's no guarantees, no matter what. But what I've seen, right, in the situation that Detroit was in when they arrived, to what the situation is now in Detroit, 3, 4 years later, is I I can see that happening here in Carolina. you got to remember something, man. Dan Campbell is a defensive coach. He's not a offensive mind at all. He's a defensive, gritty, hard-nosed type of coach. So Ben Johnson was 100% responsible for that success on offense. He was 100%. And to Big Bro point, they did draft well. They did bring in the play, but that's what you got to do. I 100% believe that the Panthers are going to hire Ben Johnson first. Then they're going to hire the GM next, and the GM is probably going to be somebody, maybe the assistant GM or something from Detroit. And him and Ejiro have the same agent. They have the same agent. If Ejiro probably will interview for some head coaching jobs, I don't see him getting any, but I do see him interviewing, or maybe he will decide to stay with Ben Johnson and try his hat on the carousel next season. If he can stay and Ben Johnson can work and develop this offense and continue to work, do the wonders, he revived Jared Goff's career. Jared Goff's career was in the fucking toilet when they traded for him. Yes, he went to a Super Bowl, but again, he also played with Pro Bowl players. A big reason why they was losing in the Super Bowl or lost in the Super Bowl was because of Jared Goff. So what he did with Jared Goff and how he transformed that offense, that's all that I need him to do. The reason why the Panthers have been bad for 8 or 9 seasons in a row is because we have not had an offense. This year, it was just historically bad. But the offense wasn't good last year. It wasn't good the year before that. And it wasn't good the year before that. The offense really has not been good since maybe Cam's last season here in Carolina. And it was just average then. So we're needing to fix the offense. The defense has shown year after year after year they can be a top 10 unit or at best top 15. This year they're top 3, even with injury to some of key players. You didn't have Jeremy Chin, you didn't have Shaq Thompson, you missed J.C. Horn for majority of the year. I'm not worried about the defensive side of the ball. To me, that's not a priority. What is a priority is protecting your motherfucking investment that you gave up a king's ransom to get. Listen, it don't matter if you like Bryce Young or not, you think he's too small or not. He's going to be here for a couple of years, and your job is to protect him and find him somebody to throw the fucking ball to. That is the number one priority of the Carolina Panthers. I don't give a fuck who comes in here and be the coach. You got to protect your franchise quarterback. You got to give him some weapons, man, that can get separation, that can get open, and give him a target to throw the fucking ball to. You got to be able to do that. The defensive side of the ball, you have guys under contract that you can build around. They're probably going to franchise tag Brian Burns. He has to be, because you know what? You missed your fucking opportunity to get the maximum value for him. Nobody's going to give you 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns anymore. Nobody was going to give you what other teams was offering us at the trade deadline anymore. Why? Because he's a one-trick pony defensive end. Yes, he's top 7, but he's going to want top 5 money. So any team that's going to trade for him, knowing the Panthers don't have a first-round pick, they're going to try to fucking lowball us, bro. They're going to really try to lowball us to get him, because he's been in the league for 5 years and only has 1 year over double-digit sack. I don't care the reason why it didn't happen, or he didn't have anybody, or he's getting double teamed. Every great defensive end in the NFL is getting fucking double teamed. Every fucking great defensive end in the league is getting double teamed. Every great DN. So I don't want to hear that shit about he's being fucking double teamed. No, he's going to want top 5 money, and he does not give you top 5 production. That's the problem with Brian Burns. And when you got offered 2 first-round picks, when the Rams offered you that shit last season, even with the bad coaches, you should have pulled the fucking trigger. You should have pulled the fucking trigger, and you wouldn't have to worry about not having a first-round pick this year. So now you're either going to have to work some magic to get back in the first round, or you're going to have to say, whoever I draft with the 33rd pick in the draft is going to be my next best franchise player. So I don't want to hear shit about Brian Burns and what kind of player he is. No, fuck that. You have J.C. Horn, you got him next year, and you can throw the 5th-year option on him for 2 years. If you want to see if he can stay healthy, next year is the last year to prove that he can stay healthy. If J.C. Horn can't give me a full season in 2024, that motherfucker has to go. He has to go. He has to go, bro. I don't want to hear it. Next year is my last opportunity, because J.C. Horn has shown me in the games that he's been here, he shut down Mike Evans today. If he can stay on the fucking field, he can be the best deep corner in the league. He has that much potential if he can stay healthy. The problem is he hasn't been able to do it in 3 years. And nobody believes that he can do it until he proves that he can do it. So I don't want to hear shit, bro, about Brian Burns to this. Derek Brown is a top 5 D tackle in the NFL right now. You build that defense around him. You got to pay Frankie Louvu and allow some of these young players to step the fuck up. DJ Johnson is going to step up. I'm not worried about the defense. But your number one fucking priorities is protecting your quarterback, giving him some fucking weapons. You better go. I don't give a fuck. T. Higgins want wide receiver money. Go and get fucking T. Higgins. Bryce needs that. And honestly, you probably need to double up and still draft Ibuka in the second round of the draft. Because he needs somebody to throw the ball to. Mingo will continue to develop, but you need to go get somebody that can stretch the field. Smith, you keep him around. I like that kid. Number 11. I like that kid. He's electric. I want to see if he can do more. I can see him potentially turning to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I can see him turning into that for us under Ben Johnson. Because Marset Smith is like that, bro. He is like that. Marset Smith is like that, bro. And I know I'm saying his name wrong, but he's like that. You keep him, keep developing him, get Bryce some protection, go spend money in free agency. You got 40 plus million in cap space. That's probably top 5 in the NFL right now in cap space. You can't be cheap. You can't be trying to shop at fucking, you know what I'm saying, Dollar General. You got to spend money. Go get your rookie quarterback a number 1 wide receiver. Go and get T. Higgins.
Yeah, man. I mean, we need, everything that you're saying as far as the offense. We got to fix those issues. But one thing you got to remember, we ain't gonna be able to fix
Everything in one
everything
off
in
season.
one
Nah.
off season. Okay, the best, the most important thing, you know, to me going forward, first is the offensive line. Man, we got to get protection. Because even if you have a great receiver, if you still can't protect your quarterback, he can't get the ball to him.
That's true. That's
So
true.
we gotta get the line. How you gonna do that? I think CLT or I think Nation said move Icky definitely the inside man. He's not a tackle in the NFL. He's not an NFL tackle. I don't think so. He's a great run blocker. He can run block his ass off, but he can't protect the outside against defensive ends um, for whatever reason. So we get our line, together. Then you get your receivers. Go. If you can make a move for T Higgins, if he want to come here, we can sign him. Definitely, we got the money to do it. Um, yes, you want to draft another receiver next year, second round. Just depends on who's available. If that's the best person
So
available at the
Ibuka there,
pick.
you taking Ibuka?
I mean, possibly just that's what I'm saying. Just depends on what we do. You know, at the in free agency, man. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what needs we've already taken off, and that's just thing this staff got to figure out. Because let's just say if we don't hit on no receivers in free agency, we get to the draft, and we still need another receiver. We got the same receivers that we currently got. then
Man.
then yes, you need another receiver. But if we've answered a question as far as let's say we pull a T Higgins by that time and he's on our roster side, then we may look at the best offensive lineman there or tackle or just depends, man. What's the best player there at that time. Um, that Booker kid, I've been following him. He's a pretty good receiver in college.
Yeah,
So that may be an
he's
option
about the
there
fifth.
at the 32.
He's
Or
about the fourth or fifth best receiver coming out of this upcoming draft. Uh,
you might want to possibly depend on again our needs, all our needs at the time. See possibly packaging that with a trade that maybe get back in the first round. I don't know.
That's
You know,
true.
that's what
But if
this
you if
GM.
you're trading back in the first round, who are you going to get? Because to me, it's
Um,
like if I'm trading back in the first round, I need to try to get up at the top to try to go get a Marvin Harrison or somebody.
Now to get, I mean, Harris is probably gonna go, man, top five. You
Top
know, and
three to me.
I mean, he could be, yeah. I mean, he's very well worth it. I'm gonna say top five at least. And you know, in order to get back there, you're gonna have to give up some major assets.
I
There's
think
You
no
know,
I
point
think
of
this time
trading. It's no point of
I could
trading. No
yeah
point of
I think
trading assets,
this
but
this
stay
this
put.
this
yeah. That's what
this
I'm saying. In
this
order to get
GM need
that,
to come in and be patient. I don't want no GM that think trading is the fucking solution.
Yeah,
yeah,
we need
Fuck
to
yeah. No, I'm
trade.
with
trade.
We
you.
Let's
don't need
I'm
to
go.
with you.
trade nothing.
I
Just
agree.
I'm,
stay put. Stay put.
you know, I'm with you. Like I said,
Unless you
if
get a
there's,
deal you can't resist, though. Like if you get
yeah,
a deal you
depending on
can't
the
resist,
deal,
yeah.
if it, you know, you know, it just, again, obviously you don't just go with the first thing, but if it's something that's favorable for us, to possibly make a move, then you know, obviously we got to look at it. You know, I'm not saying that'll be my first move, but we got to look at if it's a favorable deal for us. Not saying give up the house or give up a bunch of players or a bunch of picks. No, I'm not saying do that, but if we got a deal, we got to look at it just to see. But if not, then we'll stay with the 33rd pick, and just go from there. But yeah, man, we just got to rebuild this thing. Again, it's gonna take a couple years to fill all our holes that we need, right? I mean, we got holes from the GM down, because the reports was out that they're gonna fire Scott Fitterer. So, we gonna need a GM and we need a coach. So that's
Hold
where
on,
it
breaking
starts at.
news. Breaking news, y'all. Y'all know that as the 1 o'clock games have come to the close and the 4 o'clock games are in the ending of the first half, news is coming out like crazy, man. They said the Falcons are going to go ahead and get rid of Arthur Smith. They had a complete. If you didn't know, they had a complete lapse in the game. They
Oh
were
yeah.
tied 17-17,
Then
and
they
they
yeah, New
allowed the
Orleans.
Saints to come back in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think they
So
beat them, what, 40 something? What was it?
48-17.
Yeah, they whooped them.
So Arthur Smith is expected to be out in Atlanta. Can somebody say Eric Bieniemy? I think Eric Bieniemy is going to be the next head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. You know, he's a black
I can see
guy.
that.
He's a black guy. He can get with the culture down there. He's going to fit in. You know, not saying that a white guy can't do it. So before y'all start, goddamn, trying to cancel me and shit. But we know how the Atlanta culture is. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping it real with that. So I can
Nigga
see Eric.
Nation.
Right, nigga nation. So yeah.
Nah, I
Um,
can see Eric. I mean, he won the head coaching job, and I think
I,
Benemy deserves a job. So I mean,
yeah,
there might be a good spot for him.
and I'm gonna go ahead and do my predictions for other teams. So I got Bieniemy in Atlanta. I think Bieniemy in Atlanta. Eric B could stay in Uncle Quan. He could stay there, but honestly, I see Bill Belichick going to the Commanders. I see Bill going to the Commanders. I really do. I see him going to Commanders. I see Harbaugh going to the Chargers. I think Harbaugh is going to leave Michigan especially if they win the championship. I think that he's going to end his career there, man, and go back to the
Absolutely.
NFL. He's going to go to the Chargers. So if they do win, which I'm projecting them to win, Penix Jr. man, I know he's nice. They probably got the best wide receiving core. Anduze is a dog. Like Anduze is a dog for Washington. But so I'm gonna say Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers. I think Pierce keeps his job in Oakland. I think that they're going to give him another opportunity, but he's going to be on a short leash. But I think that he does keep the job there. Um, I think Eberflus is going to keep his job with the Bears. I think they've already said that. I think we get Ben Johnson, and I think one surprise team, man, that might fire their coach. Like one surprise team that really might fire their coach. I'm gonna say I wouldn't be surprised, man, if the Jets. Surprisingly, man. Well, no. If the Bills lose in the playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised if they move on from Sean McDermott.
Yeah, and I'm gonna throw this out there too, man. I think I might have said this before. I know you sold on Ben Johnson, but I wouldn't be surprised, man, because Tepper talked to him last year. Jim Harbaugh coming here, man. You
I
know,
wouldn't be mad at it.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. I think I really think like him and Tepper would be like a good fit for each other, man. For some reason.
Harbaugh,
Uh,
bro. I feel like Harbaugh got that fuck 'em attitude, bro.
you're right,
I
Fuck
take
'em.
exactly. There you
Harbaugh.
go,
He go
CLT.
everywhere he go, he win. Everywhere he go,
Yeah,
he
Fuck 'em.
win.
Harbaugh got
Yeah,
that
that's
fuck 'em.
true.
You don't like me in
yeah,
public, I
exactly.
fuck 'em.
CLT. That's right. Yeah, that's how I feel, man. I feel like he can deal with David Tepper. Tepper can deal with him, and it's like those guys will get along. And again, Harbaugh been he's won in this league, led the team to a Super Bowl. He got experience, and so I wouldn't be surprised. If that something come out from that. I definitely think if they, like I said, Michigan win or if they lose, I think he out of college anyway.
Yeah,
Um, just how the college game is going. So, but yeah, man, listen, man. He Hepper hired the coaching search this time, the firm. First time he's ever done that.
yeah,
Um,
that's new. That's
so
that's
that's
new.
new. So again, this might be
And
again.
this firm done selected some good coaches too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So, man,
They
I think he
selected the
want to
head
really,
coach for Chelsea soccer team,
yeah,
which Chelsea, they're a winning team in FCS, and then when you're talking about they said that he helped hire some coaches in San Francisco. That's a winning organization.
yeah,
And they
yeah,
also helped some coach searches in Baltimore too, man. So I like this approach.
yeah. I think Tepper. I think he really want to hit this time, man. The third time's a charm. So I think he really want to hit and really do his due diligence on guys and get the best candidate that's out there, possibly, man. That want to come here and build this thing. So again, it was dark this season. It was a dark season. It was a pathetic season, Panther Nations. But man, again, we got to be. I would say this: we going to be better next year. It not going to be this bad.
Nah,
Brighter days
we
are
only can
ahead.
go up.
Yeah, we only can go up from here, man. I mean, Jesus, we can only go a little. We won 2 games off of walk-off field goals. That was our season.
Yeah,
Um,
man, that's
so
embarrassing. So,
yeah,
Nigga Nation, let me ask you this question, Nigga Nation. Name me three coaches right now that you wouldn't mind having here in Carolina? I want to hear your three. I'm gonna ask everybody, the whole panel.
Eric Bieniemy.
Is that your number one? Any particular order, or you just name them?
That's my number one because he already know what it feels like to be a Super Bowl champion.
Oh,
And then he
okay.
already changed.
Eric B.
Then he already changed what Washington looked like. I mean, he's just a high power offensive minded coach. That's what you want, Tepper, right? So go get that nigga. You know what I'm saying, nigga
So
nation.
Eric
Number
B.
two, uh, of course, Harbaugh. That's number three.
Harbaugh.
And then like you said, if the Cowboys want to give up Dan Quinn, come on over.
I'm
Come
not a
on
fan of
over.
the Dan Quinn one, but I like those three. I like those three.
Dan Quinn, because he know how it feels to get to a championship, and
Yeah,
he can
but him as
and
a
he can
head
win.
coach, he's better off as a defensive coordinator to me. But CLT, who are your top three, bro?
I go number one, Harbaugh. I've been saying that day one. I want Harbaugh.
Okay.
Then I'll go Ben Johnson. Then I'll go
Oh,
OC for the Eagles.
Brian Johnson. Yeah, that's Brian Johnson. The OC for the Eagles is Brian Johnson. I don't know if I want him now, man. That
He
offense
don't
ain't look
call
good.
plays. He
Yeah,
don't call plays.
yeah, but they offense haven't looked good over the last month and some change. So I don't know if I want him, man. Big bro, who your top three?
I'm gonna say this, and no one has said this. My first candidate, Ejero, would be number.
Wow, Ejiro. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be my first one that I would prefer. I mean, the reason why he's here already, what he did with the defense again, what
Yeah.
he done with our defense, and even though we had the worst season ever offensively, just to keep those guys on defense and still play and achieve what
Hey,
they did.
it
You
was one of
know,
the best one of the best seasons defensively though. That's the
yeah,
crazy
yeah,
part.
that's what I'm saying. With everything going on the offensive side, with the Tepper news, the fire, I mean, he kept those guys locked in, and they did give us a chance in games. The offense just didn't do nothing. So that's number one. Number two, I say Harbaugh. Look, I just think him and Tepper, would be get along, and like CLT said, Harbaugh got them. kind of fucking attitudes, and he don't give a damn about what the owner says or does, and he's just gonna come and win. Um, then number
So
three,
okay,
man.
yeah.
Say that again.
So you said Ejiro, Harbaugh, then who?
The number three, man, is it would be to me. I got two. It's tied between the three, man. I would like to see Eric Bieniemy here, or Ben Johnson, man. That would be my number three. Like those, ain't no certain order between us, but those. I think the reason why they both offensive minds. You know, I probably would get a nod to Bieniemy just because he's never been in the league longer. As far as he got more experience, and nigga Nature said, he been on a Super Bowl team with the Chiefs, so he know what it takes, you know,
Right, right.
and he worked under some real good coaches in the league, Andy Reid. So I'll probably give him the nod, but or Ben Johnson, like I said, I like Ben Johnson's man. You know, he done great things
And
in Detroit.
he got a tough man kind of aura about him too, man. I don't know if y'all ever be seeing Ben Johnson on the sideline, but that motherfucker be meaning business, man, when he on the sideline, man. Like hell, you can even tell by my thumbnail for this video, man. Like Ben Johnson is all business, man, but that's from that Dan Campbell tree. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, yeah,
that'll lead me to my top three, man. So Ben Johnson is number one. I think again, man, I right now I'm comparing us to the modern day Detroit Lions. So I think that we are what the Lions are. Obviously, the circumstances are not completely the same, but when you think about how bad they were before, Dan Campbell and his crew came over,
Not the
and,
Cleveland Browns.
and uh, I mean, I don't think we've gotten as well. We're on pace to be, but I don't know if we're going to be 15 to 20-year bad like the Browns were. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we're going to be that bad. Well, right now we're probably about at like 7 to 8 years bad, but I don't know if we're going to be 15 to 20 years bad. And the Browns have been over a decade, prior to recent, history. They've been a losing organization, man. So I don't know if we've reached Browns all time status yet, but it's very Detroit Lionish, like in the 2010s and shit, man. So uh, I think that him coming here, bringing his philosophy, especially on the offensive side of the ball, I think it's obvious the problems that we have to fix on this team. I think David Tepper understands that Bryce Young needs. Listen, man. After today's game, he became the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. A blind man, you know, can see that we need to improve the offensive line. That's an absolute must. I think something is going to happen with Ikami Kwanu. I think, man, if he doesn't accept, I think that they are going to attempt to move him to guard, maybe left guard, right guard, or something like that. I think that they are going to attempt to do that. And if he refuses, man, I think that they're going to release him. You know what I'm saying? Or they're going to demote him down to the third string or something like that. Because listen, man, he's played absolutely terrible, and he's really looked terrible. From the beginning. Like I said, he did have improved stats throughout last year, but that was because majority of the time he was getting help last season. He's not getting that help this year. The entire offensive line is bad, so um, you got to find a way to protect him, man. And I think Ben Johnson is going to bring over his creative offense philosophies. Ben Johnson's offense is set up, man, to get his playmakers the ball. And that's what you need to be able to do in today's NFL, man. It's not, I don't want that whole run first approach like we've always had in Carolina. I don't want that fucking approach no more, man. I want to be able to dice offenses up, man. I want Bryce Young to be able to have 200-300 yard passing games. Yes, you have to have a solid run game, man, but in today's modern NFL, man, you need to be able to pass the ball at an elite level to be one of the elite teams. And that's what I feel like Ben Johnson is going to be able to do. He's 100% solely responsible for that offense in Detroit. Dan Campbell doesn't call plays. He's a defensive minded coach. So Ben Johnson, that is all him. What you seeing in if you seen them ball out today, bro, if you see how that Lions offense looked today, bro, that offense was fucking explosive. We don't have the players that they have, of course, but you're going to have to make work with what we are going to get and what we have. You're going to have to find a way to maximize that ability. And that's what I feel like he's going to be able to do. I don't think that there's no guarantees for whoever we bring in here, but Ben Johnson to me, man, makes the most sense at this particular time for the Carolina Panthers. Eric Bieniemy, man, I think that he is going to be fine. I would not be surprised if he got the job there in Washington, but I mean, he's not my number two. But I would love to see Harbaugh here, man. Like you said, my reasons are the reasons for like everybody else reasons. Harbaugh is just one everywhere that he's been. And when he wins a championship here with Michigan on Monday, he's he's solidified. He's been to the Super Bowl. He's been to three straight NFC championships. The guy just knows how to win, man. So if he will be my number two. My number three uh prospect, man. Um, I think that offensive coordinator, man, from Miami, that's been working down there with Daniels. I would like to see him here, man. I'm a believer in these young, innovative minds because they've shown y'all in recent history that's what it takes. Look at Bobby Stoic and the job he's doing with the Houston Texans. You get what I'm saying? And how that offense has transformed with CJ Stroud. You look at Daniels. I mean, you look at the offense. I can't think of his name right now, but the OC down there in Miami and what he's done with Daniels and that offensive down there in Miami.
But who's calling the plays though for Miami? From my
They're
understanding,
both
I
they're,
thought
they're
my
collaborating. They're collaborating on calling plays. They're collaborating on calling plays. But either way, he still has to be a good offensive mind. If Daniels, who's a great offensive mind, decided to make him the offensive coordinator. You look at the job that Shane Steichen last year, just to prove that the shit works. Look at the job that Shane Steichen done with the Colts today, man. Even though they lost on the drop pass last night, without their rookie quarterback, because Richardson got hurt, they've been playing with Gardner Minshew and still at a 9-7 record. With Gardner Minshew in arguably the hardest division in the NFL. The AFC South is probably the hardest division in the NFL. They got three teams in there with 9 wins or more. Jaguars, who season came to an end today off of you know Trevor Lawrence wasn't healthy, but their season came to an end. They finished like 10-7, and then the Texans was 9-7, and the Colts was 9-7. So Shane Steichen, who was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles last year, you seen the job that young offensive mind can do, and it ain't like the Colts is thrive with talent. They got a bunch of young players. Taylor obviously, but he missed time this year. But look at the job that they're doing. It's unbelievable, man. It's really unbelievable. These young minds. Look at the job that the OC that took over for Arizona. What's my man name? The coach that took out of Arizona. Who thought that Arizona would be as competitive as they are this year? With Kyler Murray missing 7 games, they done beat some good teams this year. They beat the Eagles and the Cowboys this season. 2 playoff teams. The Cardinals done beat them, man. So I want a young offensive mind, man. And to me, I think because that shit is proving to work in today's NFL, when you can bring in the right talent and you make the right moves, you got to go get a young offensive mind, man. Like you got to go get the AFC North is tough though. Yeah, it is tough. With the Ravens and the Browns, it's tough. But outside of them, no other team got 9 wins. Well, the Steelers, they might. Yeah, I think the Steelers they did finish with 9. Yeah, I think they won yesterday, so they might have finished with 9.
Yeah, they
I
got
got a, que-
10.
I got a
Steelers
question.
won 10 wins.
Yeah, go ahead,
Do, do
CLT.
you do you guys feel Steve Wilkes deserve an interview?
Nah, man, that ship done sail. We probably don't even want to come back here.
I mean, does he deserve an interview? Absolutely. But I don't think he would even take the interview, even if he was offered, man. Just because how they did him last year. But
Yeah.
yeah, he deserved an interview. I mean, what he done with what he has done and still doing with San Francisco this year, and plus what he did last year, remain the game. I mean, does he deserve an interview? Absolutely, he does. What my question would be: will he take the interview? Again, because I mean, really, why you gonna interview again? You know, for hell, they know what you can bring to the table and what you've done. I mean, what Wilkes has done is already, proven, man. It's really if you want to offer me the job or not at this point.
Yeah, I think
Um,
them interviews more be like conversation. That wouldn't be interviews. When I say by interview, I mean like a conversation. Deserve to be mentioned, basically.
gotcha. Yeah, but yeah, I mean he's done more than enough, man, to say, well, he can be the head coach, and I think you stick with the long term, man. The players respect him, and there was a list out a few weeks ago about
The most
top
like coordinators.
yeah, and Steve Wilkes was ranked in there, man.
Yeah, he was like number
At the top.
five.
Yeah, so the players respect him. They want to play for him. Um,
Yeah,
and
but
and
I mean that ship has sailed with him coming to Carolina, man. I don't see that, man. So,
What do you think? Get
uh,
a job elsewhere?
yeah, does he deserve another job? Absolutely, he deserves a job to be a head coach, especially with what he was robbed of when he was in Arizona when he got his opportunity. So, he definitely does deserve, man. Listen, I respect Steve Wilkes, right? I respect Steve Wilkes, man. I just was not a fan of him being a head coach for us. Like I own up to that. I wasn't a big supporter of Steve Wilkes because to me, man, he didn't really. I mean, the team played more inspired, and it was more. Obviously, man, they played hard for Steve Wilkes, and he's a players coach and all of that shit, man. But honestly, man, that shit wasn't equaling to too much results, man. I think he went 6-6 underneath us, like when he
Yeah.
was the head coach. Yeah, he went six
I
and
mean, bro,
six.
that's better than what we done had the past few years.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it was better than what we had the last 2 years. But hell, I mean, we went 5-5 under Matt Rule, and he won. Steve Wilkes won two more games than what Matt Rule really would have done here in Carolina. I feel like with our team, we would have won 7 games, man, by the end of that season, even if Matt Rule was the head coach. Like for real, that's not even no disrespect to Steve Wilkes, but yeah, everything looked the glitz and glamour part of it looked amazing, but when you talking about the results were not that much significantly better than what Matt Rule was doing. He won 2 more games. Like I felt like Matt Rule, hell, when we fired Matt Rule, we was already, what I'm saying? I think we was like 3-5 at the time he got fired. Oh, I can't remember the record we had at the time he got fired.
Wasn't it
He
what?
already had 3 wins before he got.
Yeah, but Wilkes
No, it
juggled with three quarterbacks. He went with PJ, then he went with
one. I think
he went with PJ,
we
he went with
won at
Baker, then
five.
he went with Darnold. You know what I'm
Yeah, well, so I mean, last year I could see us winning 7 games, especially as bad as the NFC South was last season, man, and it's showing that it's still that bad this year. But I mean, honestly, guys, I Steve Wilkes, man, it doesn't make sense for me. You know what I'm saying? It really don't make sense for me, man. But everybody else, I get that they like him. The team play expired for him. I think he's a hell of a defensive coordinator and coach, man. But I don't want Steve Wilkes to be my head coach because to me, I feel like the only reason why you would be hiring him is because, well, last season, this how it was last season was because of the fact that he was from Charlotte and it was a good story and he was the interim coach and all of that. But I don't know how I feel about him being our head coach. Man, we about to get ready to wrap this thing up, man. We're gonna get everybody with their last word. Carl D, I know that you just came in here, man, on the tail end of this thing. You got to start getting in here earlier, Carl D.
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah, I'll be working sometime. Yeah.
I feel it.
Um.
I feel it.
Oh yeah, I do it. Oh yeah, waves. I might have some. I don't think we. I don't think we're gonna get you. I don't think your boy gonna come. I don't think we're gonna get Ben Johnson. I know that's your number one choice, but you might have to start preparing yourself, especially after what that that thing Tampa did last week. I think they might turn him off.
I mean, it could turn him off. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by that. But I mean, right now, all signs is pointing to that. To me, that makes the most sense. You know what I'm saying? But with Tepper apologizing and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And him paying the fine. I don't know about that, man. I think his checkbook go talk. That checkbook go talk, man. That
Yeah,
checkbook
but
go
when
talk.
yeah, but 15, would you? I mean, well, I guess. You
Yeah,
think he
man.
worth 15?
I mean, that's yet to be seen. But I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's yet to be seen if he worth the 15. But from the outside looking in, I mean, he damn sure worth the try for 15. So Yeah, he definitely worth the try for 15, man.
Oh,
Um, but man, we gonna go ahead and get ready to close this thing down, man. Hey, look, appreciate everybody, man, for rocking for the channel. Listen, if you're new to the channel, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button, man. Your boy is still trying to touch that thou wow. We gonna get there soon, though, man. We gonna keep pushing it, man. Look, what's next for the boy Big Waves, man? Off season talk. So every big news that comes out, obviously when we hire, when Scott Fitterer officially gets fired, I'll probably do a live from that because I think it's coming this upcoming week. Any other big news, man, about potential head coaching candidates and who we think, we'll do some lives around that, man. And obviously, we're gonna do some draft profile videos, um, and talk about potential prospects. So listen, man, this is gonna be an off season, man, full of stuff to talk about, man. So it's not gonna be a boring off season, and I'm gonna stick with y'all through the whole way, man. So more content on the way, man. If you continue to rock with your boy Big Waves, man, make sure you hit the like button on this video. And also, man, if you like today's show and you fucking with any of the points that the Wave made, y'all see the Cash App scrolling across the screen, man, in the videos, man. Send your boy something, man. Show support. It only goes to helping the channel grow. And listen, whatever you decide to send over, man, is a blessing, man. I hope everybody had a great new year. 2024, man. We on the bigger and better things. Look, this season has been bad. You know what I'm saying? It's been a bad season. There's no other way to put this thing, man. But one thing about time, it is going to continue to go on. We have to hope that this time we get it right. That's our only hope, man, that we can do for Panther Nation. So, look, at least we don't got to watch any more bad Panther football over the next, couple of weeks. What we can do though is, watch playoff teams and see how other organizations were built and how they got to the playoffs, and watch these potential coaching candidates that we thinking about bringing in and how they do in the postseason, and only hope, man, that one day this can be us. So it will happen. I don't think we can get worse than what we were this year. So the only way we can go from here is up, man. So that's all I'm hoping and praying for, man. CLT, last words, bro. CLT, you there?
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, last words, fam.
Man, I just want to say, man, thank y'all for a good year, man. Even though it was a tough year as a fan, man, but we appreciate the content, man. We appreciate everybody for rocking with my man Wade's channel, man. I appreciate our panel, man. Basically, we just gotta, like you said, it's only up from here, man. It was rough. We appreciate the real fans for sticking it out with us. Keep pounding, man. That's all I got to say.
No doubt, no doubt, bro. Appreciate you, CLT. Carl D, go ahead with the last words, fam.
Oh, I like to echo CLT's words. It was a pleasure as always. You invite me on your channel. I had fun this year. It sucked, but hey, I still had fun. Hopefully next year, I hope to get invited back next year, and we have we do this thing again, but this time with a little bit more positive results. That's
And
all I
yeah,
got.
man, we definitely go do some more lives, man. I just can't tell y'all when those lives gonna be. Like I said, man, we get into the off season, obviously. Um, trying to figure out what how I want to approach this content, man, and how frequent I want to do this content, man. So I'm figuring out everything, man. But we definitely will be back live here, man. Especially with the news. Soon as the news drop, I'm doing a live, right? Well, maybe not soon as it drop, but because the nigga got to work and shit. But any news that come out, man, we definitely go live and do a live for it, man. So those lives probably be later in the evenings, you know what I'm saying? And we definitely go talk about it, man. So the first thing, man, is to figure out, I think everybody wants to know when Scott Fitterer will be fired, if he will be fired. I think we'll have a clear picture of that, probably starting tomorrow, and all week you're gonna hear it talked about. So especially the way we lost today, man. I'm pretty sure David Tepper was not happy. So but appreciate y'all fellas, man. We will be back. Till next time, man. Life is just a way, man. Everybody stay blessed. Everybody stay safe. Keep putting God first, man. Y'all already know. Holler at y'all later on.